As someone who is a massive fan of both LEGO games and the Horizon series, I was really excited when PlayStation announced this. Being developed by Guerrilla and Studio Gobo, I was having a really good feeling about this one. I have completed the entirety of the campaign and seen everything this game has to offer playing co-op the entire time, so here are the 7 most exciting aspects of LEGO Horizon Adventures. And before we continue, I need to give a huge shout out to PlayStation for sponsoring this video. As a lifelong PlayStation fan, I was super excited about this opportunity and I could not be more grateful. So without further ado, let's just jump into it. When it comes to the story, this is an extremely loose retelling of the original game Horizon Zero Dawn. Obviously, way more in line for younger kids though, but still to be enjoyed by everyone. And what I really did like, which I didn't even notice at first, but later realized, is that almost all the original voice actors are in here as well. Aloy, Rost, Varl, Aaron, all here, which I thought was fantastic. The world is also super well realized because this is of course being developed by Guerrilla, so they of course know this world more than anyone else, and it's very showing here. The environments all feel familiar. Again, I think if you were even a remote fan of the Horizon games, you will feel right at home here in regards to the story and world. But of course, there is a much sillier villain here. Do not expect this super deep and thought-provoking narrative, but it progresses the game in a way that feels very natural to the LEGO franchise. Co-op is in here in LEGO Horizon Adventures, and this is offered in the form of couch co-op or online. I had the pleasure of playing through my entire game with my very good friend Rapid Reacts, where we had an absolute blast from start to finish. And the nice thing about co-op here is there is no split screen. You are both always on the same screen, and it just feels very nice. We played through the entire campaign, never once disconnected, had any frame rate issues, lagging, or anything of that nature. The game was clearly optimized for a cooperative experience, and I have to just give big props because I believe they did such a fantastic job. Whether you are playing this with a family member or a friend, I highly encourage you all to play this co-op with someone because it was definitely the intended experience. Just a side note, do not forget that if you are wanting to do the online co-op, you will need a PlayStation Plus subscription. I feel like most people know this by now, but I just wanted to make sure. When it comes to the overall performance of this game, I will keep it short and sweet. It looks gorgeous. My friend and I played through this entire game on a regular PlayStation 5 in performance mode, and this definitely has to be one of the most beautiful looking LEGO games I think I've ever played. The textures, lighting, everything was top notch. The LEGO water, the fire, ice effects, just all looked so cool. I feel like this is pretty standard for a lot of Sony's first party games to be very well optimized, and I can confirm firsthand this game is no exception. And surprisingly, there can be a lot of things happening on screen at the same time. You'll be fighting numerous enemies at once while throwing out different abilities like black holes, lots of explosions, and again, it all looks and runs almost flawlessly. Nothing is more frustrating than a day one game release that is not optimized well, and for the PS5 version, this is just in tip-top shape. Now, the combat of LEGO Horizon Adventures was definitely the biggest highlight for me, and what I want to spend the most time talking to you about. You play as Aloy with her bow and arrow, Varl with his spear, Aaron has his hammer, and Teresa with explosives. Very similar to the Horizon games, you will pinpoint weaknesses to take down these different targets. Now again, do note this is not as in-depth as the original games. This is a much more simplified version, but it works pretty well. You also get access to some gadgets that are in the original game. These spawn throughout the map. Some include the Tripcaster, which works again exactly like it would in the Horizon games. You get boots that allow you to do a double jump, set fire to things below you, and each character has individual upgrades specific to them, like maybe a multi-shot bow and arrow for Aloy or a giant hammer for Erend that does massive AoE damage. This is definitely where combat felt the most fun. Now there is also an upgrade system that you will use studs to unlock, which is great. Now if I had any gripes about this, I wish that some of these items were permanent, and I also do wish they were some better placements. For example, usually at the start of some kind of boss or big arena, there would be 3 chests with an upgrade in it. Let's say I was playing as Erend. Sometimes there would not even be a single ability for him, or even weirder, an ability for somebody who's not even in our party. Now, this was not a huge deal breaker or like any major negative or anything. I just thought it was something I would mention, and I would love to see this added or changed. But when it comes to the boss portions, these were a ton of fun and could get genuinely hard at times. It could get very overwhelming with a ton of enemies on screens. There were times we both died over and over again. But I loved seeing the different LEGO designs of the bosses, like the Sawtooth and the Snap Maw, and all the smaller enemies like the Watchers. I don't know what it is, but these designs just translate so well to LEGO form, and fighting them is almost always fun. And when it comes to LEGO games in general, this is definitely some of the most fun I've had with a combat system overall. And customization also plays a huge part in here as well. After each mission, you will report back at Mother's Heart. After receiving enough gold bricks, you will then be able to build different things here, and it'll allow you to customize the look, color, and even interact with them as well. You also have many different outfits to choose from in both the Horizon series and even other LEGO IPs like Ninjago. There are a lot of outfits to choose from, which I thought was really cool and led to some pretty hilarious moments during cutscenes when we were trying to do these different challenges, like complete a mission dressed as a hot dog or defeat so many enemies as a police officer. They all carry over to the cutscenes, and it's pretty hilarious. And when it comes to the platforms in which you can play this game on, this is another huge deal. Not only is this available to play on PlayStation 5, but you can also play this on both PC and Nintendo Switch. This is a huge deal, and I think this will likely be very popular on something like the Nintendo Switch. You would think with an IP like Horizon Zero Dawn, this would just be locked on the PlayStation console, so I am very happy to see that this has been opened up so more people can check this out. Now when it comes to the overall runtime, I believe we beat this game in around 7 hours to complete the main campaign. There were a total of 4 chapters in the final encounter, but it took about 12 hours to earn the Platinum Trophy. There are different areas that open up, red brick challenges that will extend the length, especially if you want that shiny Platinum Trophy on PlayStation 5. I found these challenges super fun, and it added to the game's length. I know for me personally, shorter games do not really bother me, but I just kind of wanted to let you know how long it was and how long it would take you to complete. I believe this game never overstays its welcome, and I genuinely think if it was any longer, it might start to do that. This is a pretty decent progression with the different abilities you get until the end of the campaign, so I think the length is right where it needs to be. I had an absolute blast playing co-op on LEGO Horizon Adventures, and I think if you are a big fan of either the LEGO games or the Horizon, you will have an absolute great time here with a really fun combat system and beautiful set pieces and world building. LEGO Horizon Adventures drops on November 14th on PlayStation 5, PC, and Nintendo Switch. You can check it out using the link in my bio. And I again want to give a huge shout out to PlayStation for providing me with a review code for the game and sponsoring this video. It was an absolute blast, and I think people are going to have a really good time with this one. That's all, and I'll see you guys in the next one.